Welcome to the AGPIAL audiobook production of Unpicking Vendor Lock-in. A guide to understanding and mitigating switching costs when changing your cloud services provider. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. Now let's go. Introduction. Customers should be able to switch their cloud services provider, CSP, if they wish. A CSP, or vendor, should earn customer business by providing the best services and capabilities at the best price. If a CSP makes it difficult to switch away from them, the essential element of vendor lock-in, it suggests that their services are not earning customer trust through the value they bring, and that they are restricting customer choice. At Amazon Web Services, AWS, we provide customers with full control, ownership, and portability of their data, and allow customers to quickly move to another CSP should they choose to. We never want to trap customers with lock-in tactics such as fixed price, mandatory long-term contracts, or technical hurdles to changing CSP that amount to vendor lock-in. We want customers to stay with us because we offer the broadest choice of the best cloud services. Our outlook is that our customers are loyal to us right up until the moment that somebody else offers them a better service. This drives our customer-obsessed approach to innovation, and ensures we earn customer trust on a continuous basis. This white paper looks at what customers should require from CSPs so they have the freedom to choose the innovative services they need, coupled with the ability to turn things off and move, should they decide to do so. It provides a practical approach to defining, understanding, and eliminating sources of vendor lock-in. The commentary in this paper is based on AWS's many years of experience in delivering a secure cloud infrastructure to millions of customers worldwide. Unpicking vendor lock-in. Customers should have the freedom to choose what they like, when they like. This is a win-win scenario for customers and vendors, as customers have access to the things they need and want, and vendors keep their service offerings relevant and market-leading. That's why constant innovation and constant improvement is good for the vendor and good for the customer. Many of AWS's new services are created in response to specific customer needs, strengthening AWS's service offering for our customers. At AWS, we aim to solve customer needs every moment of the day. This is imperative, given that our cloud services are provided on an on-demand, pay-as-you-go basis. We enjoy the challenge of ensuring that our customers have the freedom to choose from the broadest range of innovative cloud services, so that customers continue to want to use AWS. Should a customer choose to move away, we make this as simple as possible. Offering customer choice and freedom are core principles throughout AWS. For example, where customers might have been locked into a legacy database provider before, AWS offers a large number of different types of databases, suitable for different types of data. There is no contractual obligation for customers to stick with one type of database. Customers can run databases from other vendors on AWS, and can change the type of instance your databases run on at any time. We make it easy to manage your data so that you can take advantage of fit-for-purpose database solutions, including exporting your data out of AWS, if desired. Everything we do gives our customers the freedom to choose the best fit cloud services and features available. If you find your choices limited in this way, a cloud provider might be trying to lock you in. Defining lock-in and switching costs. Avoiding lock-in means that if you decide to move, you can do so, at speed, and without unreasonable difficulty. This does not mean that if you decide to move all of your workloads to a different CSP today, you will have everything up and running on them tomorrow. There are always some trade-offs or switching costs, such as time to switch technology stacks, migrate data, or train staff on new vendor services. Switching costs include time, flexibility, functionality, and sometimes financial cost. The term lock-in can be misleading from a technology perspective. So, when we talk about vendor lock-in, we are really talking about switching costs which make it prohibitively difficult or risky to move away from a vendor, rather than being explicitly blocked from doing so. Switching costs have existed throughout the history of IT. As soon as you decide on a technology vendor, product, or service, you will have switching costs should you decide to change. For example, if you choose Java and then migrate to Node.js, you will have a cost. You're not actually locked in, you simply have switching costs that may be large or small depending on the situation. Vendor lock-in and data portability are not the only lenses that customers look at cloud services through. Ultimately, you want to benefit from the advantages that cloud services can bring to your organization, and in many cases customers select a cloud provider because they offer capabilities that their competitors do not provide. Using CSP native service is an early decision that customers need to consider is, am I going to make a commitment to a high-value service from a cloud service provider for the business value that it returns, or am I going to take on the cost and complexity of building it myself, and often conforming to the lowest common denominator, in favor of perceived portability? The answer, of course, is that you should use the service which best meets your business needs. There is no need to spend resources to reinvent the wheel, if your needs can be met with a CSP's services, as long as there are no known egregious switching costs. For example, if you need machine learning, ML, capabilities, choosing a CSP that allows for the use of multiple technology approaches gives you speed and agility, which can save time and money with respect to innovation and responding to changing business needs. You're not locking yourself into the vendor, you're making a decision to use the CSP native service because it's the best fit for your needs. Trying to use cloud services across multiple providers without the technical justification to do so is likely to lead to greater complexity and less service depth. AWS has made open source accessible to the widest possible audience, enabling customers to make their own technology choice at any point up the stack. For example, you might choose AWS native services to manage massive datasets, but you might also choose to drop Apache Spark onto an Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, Amazon EC2, instance to meet that need. It isn't always a case of having to pick a CSP native service versus a service that a different CSP offers. Defining what business outcomes you need to achieve, and doing due diligence of CSP's offerings can help you choose the best solutions for your organization's needs. Making everything easy to switch isn't the only consideration, it's best to focus on adopting services which are best for your organization. Remember to factor in switching costs into your evaluation of cloud providers so you don't get locked in technically or contractually. Build a plan that anticipates the potential need to switch technology in the future, and evaluate vendors on how they help to minimize switching time and cost. 6 Lock-in considerations. A CSP should succeed by the breadth, depth, global reach, innovation, agility, reliability, and security of its services. Unless you have access to the broadest range of cloud services, with a CSP that adds new capabilities and services at an accelerating pace, customers risk becoming locked in to outdated technology. A CSP which is not retaining customer trust through the quality of its services may tend to lean towards lock-in practices. Below are 6 lock-in considerations to help customers understand what to ask of CSPs, what to avoid, and how to build a plan to switch technology, if desired. Minimum commitments or long-term contracts. A CSP should not have mandatory minimum commitments, or mandatory long-term contracts. Long-term contracts should only be offered as a choice for the customer's convenience, and should typically come with a compensating feature such as reduced pricing or commitment to through-life improvement to the functionality and/or performance of the service. Historically, customers have entered into contracts that last years or even decades, with technology often frozen in time for the duration of the contract, inhibiting innovation and experimentation. The key problem when it comes to these commitments or contracts in the cloud is when they are mandatory. If you want to use cloud as pay-as-you-go, it should be available. Pay-as-you-go pricing with no contractual commitment provides customers with the ability to shut down their environment, export their data and virtual machines, VMs, and walk away without incurring further expense. However, customers should still feel free to choose a longer-term contract, if that fits their business needs best. Customers should keep in mind that a longer-term contract should provide advantages over and above a pay-as-you-go style contract, whether this is reduced pricing, a commitment to in-contract upgrades, or some other factor which benefits your organization. A CSP should give customers the freedom to choose whichever pricing and contractual model suits them and their workloads best. This way customers can adopt the cloud on their own terms. Licensing. A CSP should provide a range of licensing options for customers. Examples include a marketplace with a curated digital catalog that helps reduce costs by not over-purchasing with an in-perpetuity license, multiple database offerings, robust open source software support, alternative virtualization environments to support hybrid cloud services, and tools to help you assess and reduce license costs. AWS works with independent software vendors, ISVs, who have permitted the use of their product on AWS, enabling customers to bring their own license, BYOL, and apply it to the product on the AWS cloud, which helps to reduce switching costs when moving away from the AWS cloud. Additionally, the AWS Marketplace enables customers to find, buy, deploy, and manage third-party software and services. Customers can choose a utility pricing model with a support package, which is a pay-as-you-go license in which you do not incur any upfront licensing costs and only pay for the resources you consume. Some ISVs also offer their software as a service and charge a monthly subscription fee. AWS License Manager makes it easier to bring your existing software licenses from vendors such as Microsoft, SAP, Oracle, and IBM to AWS, and centrally manage these licenses across AWS and on-premises environments. Alternatively, customers can also consider moving to a fully managed open-source solution. For example, instead of paying long-term contracts and support fees for a commercial messaging broker, you can migrate to the fully managed, industry standards-based Amazon MQ service. Data portability. A CSP should provide portability tools and services that enable customers to move data as needed on and off a CSP storage at any time. Cloud customers need detailed, clear, and transparent information regarding the processes, technical requirements, timeframes, and charges that will be applied should they want to switch to another provider or port data back to their own IT systems. This should also include the processes and locations of any data backup, available data formats, the required IT configuration, and minimum network bandwidth. CSPs should also confirm the timeframe during which customer data will remain available for porting upon termination of a contract. The cloud shared responsibility model is an important factor when it comes to data portability. Some key concepts regarding data ownership and management in the AWS shared responsibility model include: customers own their data. Customers have the ability to store content in the format they choose. Customers choose the geographic locations in which to store their data, and it doesn't move unless the customer decides to move it. Customers can download or delete their data whenever they like. AWS services are built to support both data migration into and out of AWS. Additionally, we provide many tools and documented techniques to make it easy to do both. Many CSPs offer several tools to help move data between networks and technology partners. AWS services, for example, are built on numerous open standards like SQL, Linux, and Zen. This flexible foundation enables our customers to securely move information in and out of the cloud regardless of where that information is going, such as cloud to cloud or cloud to data center. As a best practice, customers should request that CSPs demo their data portability tools and services as part of a cloud services/CSP evaluation process. AWS understands that freedom of choice is a fundamental customer need. As mentioned previously, AWS customers always retain ownership and control of their data, including where it is stored, how it is stored, and who has access. AWS has contributed to industry initiatives such as the Code of Conduct on Switching Cloud Provider and Porting Data, SWIPO, a multi-stakeholder group facilitated by the European Commission, in order to develop voluntary codes of conduct for the proper application of the EU Free Flow of Non-Personal Data Regulation, Article 6 Porting of Data. Application portability. To minimize the risk of vendor lock-in, applications should be built or migrated to be as flexible and loosely coupled as possible. Mitigating potential switching costs requires good architecture, standard deployment practices, and pre-planning. Your cloud services should be architected with transients in mind. There are several ways to improve the portability of your applications. Use Docker containers that can be deployable virtually anywhere. Build using microservices to reduce the blast radius of changes to parts of your application, enabling the testing of each one independently if you need to make changes on a large scale. Have loosely coupled services, especially when using a service specific to a CSP, building a facade for each CSP service so you can swap it out as transparently as possible. Build your cloud platform on open standards like Zen, SQL, KVM, and Linux. Clearly demarcating services interdependencies helps to create and maintain a dynamic backout or reversibility plan. Depending on the level of risk you perceive, you can make this plan more or less detailed. In this plan, you can itemize what the major switching costs would be if you had to leave a CSP, and what steps you will take to manage them. You can also make a high-level project plan for how you would go about moving, as well as estimate these costs. Hyperscale CSPs provide standardized services to millions of customers, and these standardized services are used by customers to build their unique cloud environments. A CSP cannot know what a customer environment will look like at any point in time, and a backout or reversibility plan should not expect this kind of detail from a CSP. Instead, a CSP should provide detailed technical documentation for each of its standardized services, so that customers can use this information to create and maintain their own backout plans. In summary, some important application portability considerations are: cloud application components should be loosely linked with the application components that interact with them. You can do this by incorporating REST APIs with popular industry standards like HTTP, JSON, and OAuth to abstract your applications from the underlying proprietary cloud infrastructure. Any business logic should be separated from the application logic and be clearly defined and documented. This will avoid the need to decipher business rules in case a migration to a new CSP occurs. DevOps tools are being implemented to maximize code portability. Configuration management tools such as Chef and Puppet help you automate the configuration of the infrastructure on which your apps run. This allows you to deploy your application to diverse IT environments, which can reduce the difficulty of moving to a new CSP. These technologies reduce the lock-in risks that can come from proprietary configurations, and can ease the transition from one CSP to another. Container technology provided by companies such as Docker, Kubernetes, and CoreOS help isolate software from its environment and abstract dependencies away from the cloud provider. Since most CSPs support standard container formats, it should be easy to transfer your application to a new cloud vendor, if necessary. Service availability and vendor innovation. In order to justify committing to a CSP, the CSP should be able to demonstrate a proven history of innovation and service availability. If a CSP offers the most innovative, highly available, flexible service on the market, and makes moving away easy and safe, then there's no reason not to choose their service from a vendor lock-in perspective. Vendor lock-in is an important factor, but it's not the only consideration when adopting new technology. When you move to a CSP, you're not just solely focused on avoiding vendor lock-in. Ultimately, you want to unlock vendor capabilities and the benefits they bring to your organization. A CSP's proven pace of innovation reassures customers that the CSP intends to keep winning their business by offering them more service options, with the knowledge that they can move to another cloud provider if they choose. We give customers the services and features they want, and we avoid locking them into using services we think they want. Our culture of innovation provides customers with the ability to both tap into and influence AWS innovation, and the innovation of third-party services available via the AWS Partner Network, APN. Unlocking vendor capabilities extends to ensuring that services are available. A CSP can offer peerless services, but if they're not reliable, you'll probably want to move to a different CSP that offers reliable services. Availability and reliability are key benefits of the cloud, and CSPs needs to show SLAs that clearly demonstrate the service commitment and compensation terms if those SLAs are not met. Customers can use AWS's distinct and geographically diverse regions and availability zones, AZs, to protect applications from the failure of a single location. A 2018 IDC study of enterprises that migrated to AWS found that they experienced, on average, 94% less downtime as compared to their on-premises environments. Cost. CSPs should be able to demonstrate a history of ensuring that operational efficiencies flow down to customers in the form of price reductions. If a CSP increases prices, customers think about moving away. If a CSP has a history of increasing prices, it's likely they will try to make it difficult for their customers to move away by increasing switching costs, often through punitive licensing practices or arbitrary technological barriers. AWS operates at a massive scale, offering standardized services in a self-service manner. This low-touch model enables us to focus on innovating on behalf of customers to provide more services, enhance services already available, and find operational efficiencies that can be passed back to customers in the form of price cuts. We have reduced prices 107 times, largely in the absence of competitive pressure to do so. We have tried to make it as easy as possible to leave AWS if you want to, because we are confident that our services speak for themselves, and that service quality will make customers want to stay with AWS. How the AWS cloud helps to eliminate lock-in. This section provides examples of AWS features and services that customers can use to keep their data portable and avoid lock-in while keeping switching costs to a minimum. Data migration. When moving data in or out of the cloud, you need to understand where you are moving your data, the type of data you are moving, and the network resources available, among other considerations. AWS offers a wide variety of services and partner tools to help customers migrate their datasets, whether they are files, databases, machine images, block volumes, or even tape backups. The suite of data transfer services created by AWS includes many methods that help you migrate your data more effectively. They are broken into two categories. 1. Online data transfer and hybrid cloud storage. These methods make it simple to create a network link to your VPC, transfer data to AWS, or use Amazon's simple storage service, Amazon S3, for hybrid cloud storage with your existing on-premises applications. These services can help you both lift and shift large datasets once, as well as help you integrate existing process flows like backup and recovery or continuous data streams directly with cloud storage. 2. Offline data migration to Amazon S3. One should never underestimate the bandwidth of a semi-truck filled with 100 petabytes of hard drives, or a 100 terabyte suitcase-sized device. These offline data migration services that use shippable, ruggedized devices are ideal for moving large archives, data lakes, or in situations where bandwidth and data volumes cannot pass over your networks within your desired time frame. Containers. Containers isolate code from the IT environment it's stored in, making it more portable and less disruptive to your existing environment when it's removed. This improvement in portability reduces the switching costs of moving your application to another CSP. AWS works closely with the open source community, contributes to hundreds of open source projects, and builds services that are compatible with open source tools. You can use AWS to run sophisticated open source software for containers such as Docker, Kubernetes, Mesos, Swarm, Envoy, Linkerd, and Prometheus. In the Kubernetes community, AWS is an active contributor, leading SIG AWS and helping to maintain projects that make it easier to run Kubernetes on AWS, such as EAT, Kubernetes CSI, AWS IAM Authenticator, CNI plugin, and external DNS. AWS offers the widest range of services for storing, managing, and running containers, which enable customers to choose the right AWS service for their workload, from small experiments to critical production applications. VMware on AWS. VMware on AWS is a native, fully managed VMware environment on the AWS cloud that can be accessed on an hourly, on-demand basis or by subscription. It includes the same core VMware technologies that customers run in their data centers today, including vSphere Hypervisor, SE, Virtual SAN, vSAN, and the NSX Network Virtualization Platform to allow them to continue to leverage investments in VMware without continuing to buy and maintain hardware. VMware Cloud on AWS runs directly on the physical hardware to avoid nested virtualization, while still taking advantage of a host of network and hardware features designed to support our security-first design model. Also, the entire roster of AWS compute, storage, database, analytics, mobile, and IoT services can be directly accessed from your applications. VMware on AWS can be consumed either on demand, or over a multi-year subscription, depending on the customer's choice. This ensures that any contractual commitments made by the customer are a conscious choice for the benefit of the customer, rather than an unavoidable switching cost. DevOps tools to maximize code portability. AWS provides a set of flexible services designed to enable organizations to more rapidly and reliably build and deliver products using AWS and DevOps practices. These services simplify provisioning and managing infrastructure, deploying application code, automating software release processes, and monitoring your application and infrastructure performance. These tools help build, deploy, and manage services in a decoupled way that makes them easy to move if necessary. Conclusion. A major benefit of the cloud is that it provides customers with the ability to move at any time to another vendor. CSPs should not place any impediments on this benefit through making it technically or contractually difficult to switch away from them. Following the recommendations in this paper will help customers ensure that CSPs raise the bar in terms of offering broad service choice, while also keeping switching costs low. We are confident that AWS's cloud services speak for themselves in comparison to other vendors, and that our customer obsession keeps us focused on giving customers the freedom to choose the tools and services they want. This includes the tools and services that allow customers to move away, should they wish. This has been an AGPIAL audiobook. AGPIAL, a good person is always learning. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for listening. Check out our other channel content. Have a great day and enjoy life.